We ready? Hi, my name's Craig Powell. I'm the founder and CEO of ConnectEDU. I wanted to take the next 10 minutes to tell you a little bit about our business and what we've been up to, where we make our money. Since 2006, we've been focused on helping learners navigate their K-12 decision making into their post-secondary opportunities and ultimately into employment. I don't know how many of you are golf fans, but perhaps you tuned into the Masters this past weekend and saw some of the ExxonMobil ads that ran. That is a direct line description of the types of things we're focused on. How do we help kids understand the courses that they need to take, the levels they need to perform, the college opportunities that those open up, how those college opportunities lead to what courses, what opportunities, and connecting into to what employers. We make our money selling software as a service. Our largest customers are state governments who are focused on aligning their human capital pipeline. Our second largest customers are CEOs who are interested in aligning their human capital pipeline. And then we also sell suites of software into K-12 and post-secondary institutions that allow them to plug into our network of students. Our scale today, we service about 22 million students across the platform. Roughly 4,000 K-12 institutions, 1,000 post-secondary institutions. Now we have 130,000 employers that show up and post anywhere from 1.5 million to 2 million entry-level jobs and or present themselves inside the learning management system or the adaptive learning of each student, helping them understand why I'm in Algebra 2, why I'm learning that fractions lesson, and what doors are associated with how well I perform on that fractions lesson. We sit across K-12, post-secondary, and the workforce, and we help those institutional partners more effectively recruit, more effectively contextualize the education that they're providing, drive their retention planning to understand which students are on track, off track, highlighting for practitioners where intervention is needed, and then ultimately advancing students. Our view is that students go to high school to go do something after high school, they go to college to go do something after college, and so we're focused on how do you blur that line and bridge that connection. Some sense of our employers, we work with some of the largest states in the United States. In Florida, where we don't have a statewide distribution, we work with the largest districts there. Our market share of the 18-year-old student population, I think the statistic is across New York, Texas, Florida, and California represents about 18% of the 18-year-olds in this country. So it gives you some sense of the market share domestically. We work with some of the largest school districts in the U.S. on a direct basis to help them graduate their students and move them on to college. We work with some of the largest and smallest colleges in the U.S. to help them graduate their students and move them on to jobs. And we work with progressive employers. I used to jokingly say we were like the hair club for men model. Now it's gotten a little too personal, but we also do use our own products to source our own entry-level talent. What do we sell? We actually don't sell the adaptive learning plans that we provided the students. We give those away to the students, helping them understand a plan, how they progress against that plan. These are all basic concepts in the rest of our lives. In education, this is a pretty novel concept that I would need to take a series of these courses and perform at a certain level in order to have certain opportunities exist. We then drive through our own proprietary recommendation engine, the networking and matching of the resources that they need in order to navigate. We'll connect them through our purpose networking capabilities to actual employers who are looking to hire folks with their skill set, to actual admissions officers who are looking to recruit students with their skill set. So we sell recruitment hubs that plug into our pipeline that help colleges and employers recruit and find the best match talent. We drive education resources that enhance the contextualization of why I'm sitting in that algebra class, or perhaps I just got a C in my organic chem class and I'm no longer headed to my pre-med route, perhaps believing my life is over when in fact life may have just began relative to the number of bioscience companies we work for that really don't care about a C in organic chem. So we help contextualize the delivery of the education. We partner with some of the largest LMS providers in the country who are some of our largest resellers. We drive retention. This is benchmarking. When we showed up in the San Francisco school district, they didn't know whether or not kids had met their graduation requirements until 2 weeks before graduation when they ran the degree audit. Today that happens at the instant that the student is veering. We inform the practitioner. We've then used our data layer to also drive that benchmarking not only to whether or not they're going to graduate, but are they completing those courses at a competency level that's going to get them admitted into the colleges that they're interested in. And then ultimately we advance these students. We move their information forward. We do this, we're data driven. This is, over time we evaluate the effectiveness of the various interventions. We put all those pieces together to create what we call our learner engagement platform. Our biggest customers, as I mentioned, are states who are interested in putting all of these pieces together. So Governor Jindal, I see Jane Swift in the audience here who has some familiarity with this project in particular. Governor Jindal said I should have all my learners on a learning plan. I should connect those learners back to the courses that they need. I should inform the practitioners and their parents and everyone that surrounds that student how they're performing against those goals and objectives so that we can drive informed interventions. Because we'd aggregated the data layer, he also eliminated hurdles like completing college application forms or moving transcripts. I already know what your academic information is, and I know what the data that needs to be moved, so I don't need you to fill a form out to tell me that again. I can seamlessly move that, in this case for the governor. Knocking down, engaging the colleges so that they can also come in and purpose network. We don't have to get into it in the 30 seconds I have left, but suffice it to say the architecture between purpose networking and social networking are at odds with one another relative to both the data protection and the proximity of how information is shared. And then ultimately we also do that for the companies in the state of Louisiana who are also trying to drive their pipeline. I like to say, somebody asked me earlier today what the biggest innovation for the education cycle or the education market could be. I said shorter sales cycles. Our view is it's going to take us 18 months whether we sell a 7-figure project or a 5-figure or 6-figure project. So we focus on selling 7-figure projects like the one here in Louisiana. We've had a lot of success in that. Our states recur, they grow, and we continually drive upsells that are associated with it. It is working capital intensive relative to convincing a state to move forward with this, but they're nice annuities once you stand them up. I won't bore you with the summary here of Louisiana. One of the things that we do think is interesting, this is the data layer that we've aggregated. So we've got about 4 million K-12 students, 11 million post-secondary, 6 million that are entry-level talent, 0 to 6 years out of college. We've got about 15% overlap inside our database today of students that we saw in K-12 and now in entry-level employment. So we're getting to some interesting permutations off of our own data in order to be able to predict learning plans, learning maps, and what you actually need to do in order to pursue certain degrees, which is what we think starts to get interesting relative to our economic buyers. This is a snapshot out of our database in early December. Turns out we have a matching problem. I don't think that's news to anyone relative to the number of employers that are looking for students inside our database with certain degrees relative to the number of students that are pursuing those degrees. But when you map that down to helping a 7th grade parent understand that your pre-algebra selection in the 7th grade will be a direct determinant as to whether or not your son or daughter will ever work in one of those STEM careers, takes college counseling to a whole new level. Thank you.